Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Monday, a loaded lineup to kick off Thanksgiving week. Gianni The Greek is going to start us off with the Steam Report. Krackomberger is going to drop an NBA prop, give us some thoughts on Monday Night Football. And Steve Merril, busy man today. We're going to preview Panthers, 49ers. We're also going to take a look at the NBA Cavs and Raptors, and then college basketball, St. John's versus Iowa State. Hope everyone had a really good weekend. No time to waste. Let's bring in Gianni and see what we got cooking this week.
Indeed.
Gianni, Thanksgiving cooking. Okay. All right.
That's one of the best weeks. Doesn't get better than this, bro. Doesn't get, honestly, like I've been here now for 30 years in Vegas, and still March Madness, that first Thursday, Super Bowl day and the day before, and then Thanksgiving, those 4 days are still among my best that I look forward to when it comes to like betting, like that. I enjoy it, not just the job, just because it's everybody's off from work. You have all those primetime standalone TV games. People are just betting. So it's like a different market. It's awesome. I love it. It's like Sunday afternoon football, NFL market, but over 4 days. So yeah, a lot of opportunity to make money.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk some Steam Report. Guys, please hit the like button. Really helps us out. Let's start with college basketball. You said you actually have quite a bit of college basketball today. So let's start there and get things started.
Yeah. And I think I already gave out 10 moves in the Steam sheet today. And that makes my life so much easier because 2 premiums already released to subscribers, but I get so much information. It's good to be able to use it. Like this one just came in now, Liberty. And I like Liberty today. That's an early game against Vermont. So we're laying the 8 on Liberty. That was already in the Steam sheet. Wow. So, okay, they're coming back with Liberty. Here's some of the college football basketball. 802 UAB -2, 2.5. 818 Arkansas State -2.5 and 3. 820 Northern Arizona plus the 3. 828 Arizona -31 and 32. You just got that Liberty play now. What else can I give you? 830 Toledo plus the 4. 871 Seton Hall plus 10.5. 861 Houston -13.5. 864 Oregon plus the 4. 852 Akron minus the 1. And 1833 Rhode Island minus the 1 in the first half. I know there's some early games going off today as well that we got down on. So college basketball all day today. And those that are checking the Steam sheet, I think it's free for everyone this week. So you get updates. We'll probably have a couple. I won't make you go crazy with nonstop, but we should get more college basketball throughout the day.
All right, let's take a look while we're talking basketball. We've got a really good slate of NBA games as well. I see maybe some move on totals here, but what are you seeing on your end?
All right. The one total that we hit was the Houston Phoenix total, game 515. Under 227 through 225. That was up there early on that Steam sheet too. Some of these got away from us. Here's the sides. 501 Detroit -8.5, 9, 9.5, and 10. I had to keep updating that. 509 Denver -7, 7.5, and 8. 515 Houston -6. 517 Minnesota -8.5 and 9. And then 520 Utah -14. What you notice there, all favorites. The key, do they come back on the dogs? We know recreational bettors tend to bet favorites. We know they didn't have the best week last week. They're kind of chasing heading into the holiday weekend. Rest assured, favorites are going to be jacked up a little bit. That's what we're looking at. But the key is, are they going to come back and take the dogs a little bit later, or somebody's going to be set up for middles or legit moves later?
John wants to know, where is the Steam sheet found? Can you point people to that, Gianni?
Yeah, if you go to my page on WagerTalk.com, should be up and available for you guys. I know it's up there because I know we gave I have 4% today in college basketball, and that's being given in the Steam sheet for free, and then all that stuff that I keep adding.
Let's go to football. We've got NFL tonight. We've got multiple games on Thursday, so I'm sure money has started to move in. Let's talk about the game tonight. Are you seeing anything? I see a huge move on the total from where it opened to where it is now.
Yeah, and I'm surprised the side hasn't really been jacked up yet. especially for teaser protection. Kind of tells you there is some Carolina money that's holding it back, because they got to have a lot of exposure on San Francisco just in parlays from money lines and even from teasers. Because let's not forget, the Rams were a popular side on Sunday Night Football. They got there against the spread. They got there on the teaser. They got there on the money line parlays. And I think a lot of them are tied into San Francisco against Carolina. And listen, San Francisco is an elite team. That's the bottom line. You're looking at the question is Carolina have anything to play for? Because with San Francisco, they're a top 5 strength of schedule team. Their offense is top 10. Their defense is just out of the top 10. So considering they have a top 5 strength of schedule, their stats are really good. They're a legit 7-14. Flip side, I look at Carolina. They've had barely a top 10. I mean, a top 20 strength of schedule, barely in the top 20. And yet there's only 4 teams worse than them offensively, 5 teams worse than them defensively, efficiency wise. So obviously it's, an elite team like San Francisco against a weak team like Carolina, who has 6 wins and 5 losses. Like, how they have 6 wins is beyond me considering their stats, but they continue to get covers. I mean, they're 7-4 ATS. You made more money betting Carolina than San Francisco. And that's where the spread becomes the great equalizer. Will they be able to keep it close? Because you look, the last 4 times they were dogs, they got the money. And not only did they get the money, they won outright. So it's a scary dog to fade in Carolina. But you have the recency bias of San Francisco coming off scoring 40-plus points last week, and a big game for them, division rival Arizona beating them by 3 touchdowns. Tough game because, again, it's the superior team is obviously San Francisco, but once you get up over a touchdown, you have to have some conviction that they're going to be able to blow them out. The total seems to have moved a little bit too high now. If you're chasing that over, probably should have got involved a little bit earlier in the week, because like you mentioned, it just continues to go up. And some of that has to do with recency bias, and the rest of it has to do with San Francisco. The weakness is the defensive side of the ball. At least that's where they're weaker. And with Carolina, they're weak on both sides of the ball, but that offense may have a little more success this week. So I do think the market expects points. And so far, we haven't seen resistance from the wise guys. Like even at 50.5 that I did see some credit shops go to, I didn't see any biting on the under. That'll be interesting to see if the sharps come in and take any of that under. I know they went over early, but at a much different number.
Question. Andrew was curious about this Michigan-Ohio State move. Are you seeing anything? It's probably pretty early in the week. I know you always say that most of the time this money kind of comes in closer. Do you see anything for Ohio State, Michigan?
Yeah, what a game, right? Let me see if I see anything else come in. Early, I didn't see much at all. No, it's like you touched on. It's really early. I don't even see that game. Is that Friday or Saturday?
Saturday, November 29th. So, yeah, we were just curious. But, yeah, this early in the week, you're probably not going to get confirmation or get anything.
No, I mean, 10.5 got taken out. But then 9.5 got taken out. So it seems like they settled that the line should be 10. Like anyone at 9.5 is that juiced minus 115. But you do see some of the square shops at 10.5. So obviously they're expecting the public to be on Ohio State. And why wouldn't they? Best team in the country, continue not just to win, but cover games, which is almost impossible to do when you're the number 1 team in the country. You're not supposed to be that good ATS. The books should be able to protect themselves against that, and they haven't been able to. So I think this is one of those cases where if you're liking Ohio State, brother, do not wait. Because unless the betting syndicates line up and steam Michigan, which they have no reason to do so early in the week when you're seeing the line moving in the direction of Ohio State, I would get down on Ohio State now, or I would wait a little bit on the Michigan side.
All right. You mentioned Thanksgiving and just how awesome it is. Betty, are there any trends or anything that we know from from Thanksgiving games that you try and follow each year, or is it just New Year? It's always something different.
For me, it's year to year. Honestly, I'm not a big trend guy. Again, I don't knock it. Anyone making money with trends, God bless you. Keep doing it. I just feel like I could find a trend for anything. Like if I add enough factors, I could find 100% trend. The question I always ask with a trend is there a fundamental reason why that trend should continue? Like if you tell me that the Phillies are 8-0 when a day game with a starting pitcher whose last name starts with a P and the first baseman is right-handed that day, like that, there's no fundamental reason that trend should continue, that it should get to 10-0. But tell me that this team hits left-handers and that year they're hitting lefties better, then that's a trend I could pay attention to. You know what I mean? So to me, it comes down to the trend. And I'm not a big trend guy. I don't have that kind of memory, unfortunately. Like game by, they all mix up to me. I look at them each individually.
What are we seeing with some of the? We got Green Bay, Detroit. We've got Kansas City, Dallas, Cincinnati, Baltimore.
There we go.
Yeah,
Let's
I know
take
the
an
line
early
is.
look.
Yeah, I see the line has dropped on Baltimore. Probably the news with Joe Burrow. Plus, the fact Baltimore hasn't looked that great covering these big numbers. What are we seeing this early in the week?
Lions. The public's already betting the Detroit Lions, and yet you could get them at -3 plus 105 or -2.5. -2.5. So that's a little bit interesting this early in the week, seeing that even though the public, again, they're not heavy public money this early, but that tells me they're tying in this Monday night game with Thursday's action already. So I'm sure you're getting tonight the favorite teased or the favorite parlayed money line with Detroit. And that's why I'm starting to see the Detroit risk, because I just looked in the back end of a book I have access to, and their risk is already piling up. Like they have zero risk right now in Green Bay, but they have risk on Detroit. So it's got to be parlays, teasers tied into Thursday from tonight. And that's not surprising that they're going to bet Detroit. Dallas and Kansas City, believe it or not, I think Dallas will get some money at home, especially the way they came back yesterday against Philadelphia. Against Dallas at home, Thanksgiving Day, and the Chiefs, you know, they've been beatable this year for sure. Baltimore, like you touched on, that's going to be an ugly game. That late game probably end up a little more money line action on Baltimore, but it's the question marks with that team, I think, is the problem. But no questions asked. The books are going to need Green Bay to cover that game early, or else there'll be a lot of live parlays and teasers into the two later games.
All right. I think that Raul wants to know, what tools do you use to research a game? My gosh, there's a million tools out there. Gianni, you want to tackle that one?
For me, I start with the power ratings that I use. That starts everything for me in all sports, so that I try to create a number before I even look, so I'm not biased. That's rule number one, and every handicapper should do that. If you're handicapping your own stuff, you should never look at the price before you create your own number. It's like going in to buy a car. You're not going to go into a dealership without having an idea of what the car should cost, because he could throw a price at you. You don't know, are you getting lowballed or not? But if you go in knowing this should be $25,000 and they're asking $30,000, then it's too much. Same thing with betting. If you look up at the board and Team A is the favorite, bias-wise, we already assume Team A is the favorite. But if you draw up your own numbers before looking up at the screen, and you're like, wait, I have Team B as the favorite, and you look up and Team A is the favorite, all of a sudden you have yourself a nice bet to place. So that's one of the tools that I think everyone needs to use, because you could create them yourself. You don't need like any kind of expenses to do it, just need a lot of practice. So create your own numbers. That would be my first advice.
All right. What do you have up for everybody on Monday? Kick us off.
Right now, the free Steam sheet. The free Steam sheet. That's it. Because I'm waiting for my confirmation on the primetime games, like I talked about in yesterday's Steam room. It's just work, bro, for whatever reason. Now I think like 14 and 4, 14 and 5 in the at Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football over the last how many weeks. And I have strong leans again, just waiting to see if I get that confirmation, then that package will be up. Otherwise, I fired a couple premiums that are in there for subscribers and getting ready for football for this week ahead. So those packages will be up to date or tomorrow at the latest for you guys.
All right, Gianni, thank you so much. Big week, guys, ahead of us. Gianni the Greek getting us started with the Steam report. Yes, we are doing a show on Friday. No show on Thanksgiving, but yes, we'll be doing a show. I'll be hosting. I hope it goes well. I will be out of town, so as we all know, I'm going to be at the mercy of the Wi-Fi. So, but hopefully we'll be good to go on Friday. So, a big night of plays, guys. I have my Monday Night Football pack that is up. One best bet in NFL, and I went ahead and attached as a bonus 2 NBA props to that, since we only have one prop in NFL. And then the 2 NBA plays I love. That's actually going to turn out to be a really nice pack, because I think I'm going to add an NHL prop to that as well. So primetime games, for whatever reason, have worked out great this year. 20 and 11 primetime games when we just do one best bet on Monday Night Football. So partner up with us. Let's cash on that one. Sadly, lost a big play yesterday in NFL. Full disclosure, we'll tell you when we win, when we lose. We had Zach Charbonnet to go over his rushing yards, and then Seattle beat Tennessee so bad they only held the ball 22 minutes. It was gross. Season low in carries for him, and he was averaging 5.8 yards a carry. He just needed one more carry, and he would have got there. But nice thing about that, there's always tomorrow, and that starts tonight. So join up with me. We got 1 NFL and 2 NBA props as a bonus, and probably we're going to add an NHL as well. All right, let's do some questions. The NFL, Week 12, and we've got a bonus non-NFL. Do we need Thursday night football? I was going back and looking at Thursday night football. They have such weird results. These teams are beat up. I mean, I don't know if I don't know. This Thursday night football thing, I don't know if this is just a failed experiment, but sometimes the games aren't real good. It's not a real true indication of what the teams are. I don't know. Maybe some people love, but I guess my question is, do we need Thursday night football? Next question. How many people knew Teddy Bridgewater was still in the NFL? I did not. That was new to me. So how much trouble are the Patriots in? Big time losses to that offensive line. We're waiting to see how bad the injuries are, but I'm worried about the Patriots now. They lost basically the left side of their offensive line. So that's big trouble. Next question. Who's the number 1 wide receiver for Dallas? I mean, Dan, Pickens looked like a world beater against your team, and CeeDee Lamb just continues to drop the ball. By the way, shout out to those guys. So CeeDee Lamb apparently missed curfew when he was in Vegas, and then Pickens missed the bus. That's why they got benched. So I'm sure the coaching staff was like, awesome, we get these guys. Next question. Is it already over for J.J. McCarthy? It's not getting better for J.J. McCarthy. It's actually getting way, way worse. So I don't know what the solution is, but when you're regressing as the season goes on, that's not good. So, and then finally, what is going on with Bret the Hitman Hart? If you did not see what Bret the Hitman Hart said, then just look it up. Anybody that's a wrestling fan and knows Bret will be stunned. And if you know what he said, shout out to you in the chat. Let's do where the public won and where the books won. These big faves were just disastrous. Ravens did not cover. Lions did not cover. Seahawks did not cover. Your money lines did, but those spreads, the books absolutely feasted. Where did the public win? Everyone was on Baltimore under, and the Packers did get that cover, so that's where the public won. But other than that, it was a pretty big week for the books. Let's do props and fantasy football winners and losers. Not a long list here, but I'll tell you, Caleb Williams, he keeps getting it done. And if you have him on fantasy, he's been a really, really nice starter for everybody. And DJ Moore looked good yesterday as well. Hunter Henry with the huge game. So did Wan'Dale Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe they said that was a top 3 fantasy performance for a running back. So Jahmyr Gibbs has the huge game. Emmanuel Wilson took over the lead role for Green Bay. He didn't have like huge chunks, but he just kept going at it. Ends up with a really nice stat game. Rashid Rice is looking fantastic for the Chiefs. And Michael Wilson, I don't know what that team's going to do in Kyler Murray's ready to come back, and so is Marvin Harrison. But Michael Wilson's been absolutely stud. So props in fantasy football losers. DeAndre Swift, he may have lost that job in Chicago. Fumbles, then Kyle Monangai gets going, so he may have lost that job. Everybody in the Vikings, we were terrified of what's going to happen to Justin Jefferson with his numbers, and it's not looking good. Jonathan Taylor bottled up by the Chiefs. They did a really good job. And Lamar Jackson, who is clearly not healthy, taking his under on rushing props has been really good. And then we talked about CeeDee Lamb. Too many drop balls for CeeDee Lamb. Pickens caught 9 catches on all 9 of his targets. So, all right, those are your props and fantasy football winners and losers. And yes, I'm talking about what he said about Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon. Yikes. All right, let's bring in Bill Crackman. Bill, were you a wrestling guy?
Hey, good morning.
Were you a wrestling guy?
When I was a kid back in New York and New Jersey, there used to be Channel 9 used to have wrestling at midnight. This is literally 50 years ago. I'm 57, so literally, and it was Bob Backlund was the champion for like a decade straight. Yeah.
Yes.
It was fun though. Like I actually enjoyed it when I was a kid, but I quickly grew out of it in my teens, and that was it. But however, I did go see when I was in Tampa a couple of years back, and they were so nice. Bret Hitman Hart was the first guy that it was a VIP event at the Hard Rock in Tampa, and I didn't know the name, I know who he was, but he was very nice. And the two guys were Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. That it was great. It was a one-on-one. You got to go in and for 60 seconds, take photos with them, talk to them both, and really nice guys.
How cool.
I had some great photos with them guys, and they gave about an hour talk after to the audience. And Ric Flair just got over the sickness. He was really sick. He almost died. And it was his first show. And he talked about how Hulk Hogan saved his life and how Hulk Hogan loaned him money. And it was really cool. And those guys were so real. They were just so nice. And I was upset when Hogan died. And
wow, what a story.
I was upset. Yeah, I have some great photos of those guys, and that was a memorable night. My brother was into wrestling more than me, so he was so happy to see those guys, and it was a nice night. Wrestlers are nice. Certain people are certain sports. The athletes are really nice. Boxers, so nice. Boxing guys are so. Compare them to some of these NBA thugs. I mean, I'm unfiltered. That's the way I call it, like it is. Some of these guys are just total animals to the fans. But yet, I was just with Larry Holmes and Michael Moore. There's 3 of them. Michael Moore, Larry Holmes, God. And they were nice as can be. I was just with them at a charity event. So nice, such good guys. And always, every single year, Boom Boom Mancini, I was talking to him. I was, there's just so many guys. Thomas Hitman Hearns. I can go on and on. I told you Larry Holmes. Sugar Ray Leonard. How can I forget Sugar Ray Leonard? Sugar Ray Leonard. Just regular great guys. Talk to the fans. Unlike, like I said, the NBA clowns. That's the way I feel. And I'm not saying all of them, but my experience has been most of them. So it is what it is.
Yeah, back when I was in hospitality, I dealt with basically every single NBA team, and it was all or nothing. They were either the nicest guy in the world, or you didn't want to be around them. Like I would say, Dirk Nowitzki was one of the nicest guys I ever met. He was.
Was he? That's good to know. Yeah.
He was a gem. He was absolutely fantastic. So I won't tell the stories about the. I won't tell the negative stories. We'll try and keep it positive on the show here. So, let's. How was your weekend, Bill? What'd you do?
Here you go. Pretty cool, right?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
You weren't kidding.
They were so nice. Those guys. My God, yeah, I found the photo. They were so nice, and I have to admit it. I didn't know. I didn't even get a photo with him. I didn't know who Hart was, but he was like their manager, I guess, at one time. Or, Yeah, it was pretty cool. My brother was with him. That's Hart, right?
Yeah, that's Jimmy Mouth. That's Jimmy Mouth of the South, and I've met and worked with Jimmy
Oh,
Mouth of the South, and he is one of the nicest guys I've ever interacted with. Like,
he was
he is,
so nice.
and,
They were so
and,
nice.
and it's not really a persona. He does talk as much off outside the ring as he does when he's inside the ring. It was just nonstop. He was wild, man. He was so cool. It was so
Oh yeah,
awesome. So,
yeah.
and Mike,
I'll get lost in things like that. I love stuff like that. Just great guys, great guys. Ultimate Warrior, I remember him. All right, Mike. Absolutely.
yeah, I did a show for somebody, and as payment, they gave me an autograph, the very first version of the Ultimate Warrior comic book. I've got it somewhere. I got an
Wow.
Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, it's so cool, so cool.
So last week, good week, plus 7.1 units, rolling along again. There's a rating service that tries to rate us, and I always tell them they get it so wrong because they just don't go by the proper rating system. I tell all my clients, that maybe you go 1 unit on an NBA, or I don't even do NBA sides, an NFL side, but you're going 3 to 4 units on a college basketball game. You're going 2.5 units on an NFL prop. Like, you have to bet the units properly. You can't be betting the same amount of money on an NBA or an NFL side that you are an NFL prop, or better yet, a college basketball game. So, but if you're going by what I tell you to do, absolutely. Last week, college basketball 14-11, NFL 7-4. That prop unit wise, it's plus 7.1 units. And I always tell people you have to go by unit size, but there's a service that all they do is try to make everyone look bad and ruin people's lives and affect their pocketbook, and they just don't know how to rate the stuff. And it's what I tell them, but they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know because unless they're told, and they are told, but they still want to just try to make people look bad under anonymity, of course. But anyway, again, like I said, it's just I'm going to win because I'm betting stuff that's smaller market and NFL props compared to NFL sides. I put a lot of props out. I'm killing it on the season, killing it on NBA props, destroying it. NFL props winning, college basketball winning. That's what I do. This is my wheelhouse time of the year now. So college basketball, NFL props, are you kidding me? NBA props all together in the same week. Oh, God. Bombs over Tokyo. The books have no chance. No chance. In the long term, they have no chance. It's the reason why I've been thrown out of many legalized sports books, stations, Caesars, Boyd. I can go on and on and on. It's Treasure Island. The big sports books, of course, the FanDuels and DraftKings, limited to pennies, and which is basically thrown out. And local guys, forget it. I don't even want them anymore. I don't even want them. I can't even. Over the years, this is going on 30 years now with local guys. So you understand, they just don't like anyone with a pulse. So and the per head shops that run the sports books in Costa Rica, and Panama, and Antigua. They run the sites for the people. So people, as you guys know, you probably have some local guys. And what happens with local guys is they're not sitting there like the old days, picking up the phone and writing tickets and saying, all right, what do you want? Okay, you want this? All right, 100 down that game, 200 in this game, writing them down. They just go to a per head shop offshore. They're giving them $5 per player per week to write the business for them. And literally all they have to do is check on the account and see the action they have and just do the P&H. I'm sorry, P&C. They do the payments, pay and collect every week. But those type of guys are the guys that I'm getting that I was getting thrown out with for years. I literally don't even mess with them anymore. I'm very happy doing what I do in media, doing what I do here on WagerTalk, Fox, many different media sources. And bet the local casinos that allow me. I'm getting down some good money though. I can get down 2,000 at Circa, 1,000 at Westgate, 1,500 on BetMGM. I can get down like $5,000 a prop on basketball and NFL props. So I'm happy with that. and done dealing with the local guys that just they don't pay winners. They don't like winners. So I've been stiffed out of a lot of money in my life, a lot, and just done doing that. I'm done doing it. You know, you do the work. You have partners you deal with, and they're, you know, you have to pay the partners. You have to make sure that they get paid, and I'm not getting paid from certain sources. So, and listen, we all have a rabbi to go to, but that's not. It's 2026 here. You know, we're not going after people, and that's not the way it is today. There's, I'm not trying to go off like a tough guy, but I mean, there's cameras on every corner, cameras here, forget about it. You can't. There's nothing like. Imagine it's the opposite. It's actually the opposite. That makes me laugh. It makes me effing laugh. It's the opposite of what's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the bookmakers and the agents going after players that don't pay. It's the opposite, though. It's the opposite. It's the bookmakers that don't pay. It's the bookmakers. It really is. It makes me want to curse. It's a joke. It really is.
Let's talk a little NBA. I want to get a prop that you like, but do you focus on similar teams, like similar players? I mean, I like to try and play the same guys and the same props over and over, try and catch a nice streak, try and get a 5-2 type of streak. So I had the dreaded. I had a guy over rebounds and he had 3 fouls in 5 minutes. It's like, well, that one's dead.
Oh man!
So he sat the rest of the half and then lost by the hook. But what guys have you been seeing some success with recently?
No, you're right. You're right. It is good to but until maybe the public knows a little bit more. It is good to pound the same players if you see them going in one direction. Now, again, I heard Gianni say it. Man, he is so spot on. I have to be blunt. I knew who Gianni was, but until I joined WagerTalk, I didn't know how astute he was. I didn't know how he knows so many things about so many things in this game. He's been around. He's been around this game. Like I just said about the local guys and stuff. He's been around for a long time. That like trends. You don't want to just go off a trend, NBA prop trend. Oh, this guy went under on his points and rebounds the last 2 games. I'm going to do that. No, because the book knows that too. They're going to adjust or even over adjust. So, he is spot on about that stuff. So, I do have one for you. I just want to go to the website to make sure I put it up an hour ago. Make sure it's the same line here. Anyway, it's a Derek Queen points and assist over 20. Yep. All right. Over 20.5 minus 130. Over 20.5 minus 130. Going with the rookie here who's been hot. He's been hot. Betting 30. Literally he's been getting 30 plus minutes. And I bet him a couple times. So just talking about a certain player. Here you go. So he's been 30 plus minutes his last 3 games. Great spot for Queen against the Bulls, who they literally rank last in paint defense, where he does most of his work. Plus, his total is really high. It was like 244 I seen earlier. So they're expecting a lot of points here, and should get a lot of points and assist opportunities in this one. So over Derek Queen, points, assists over 20.5. So there's a perfect example. I wasn't planning to say that I bet him in the past with it, but yeah, there's a perfect example of that. So go over on his and smoking hot on these props. I didn't know the record. You think I know records? Like I have to get it off my assistant. I send them, I bet them, and I go. So, and that's one other thing I do. So I don't bet the thing first. I just told you I could bet like 5,000 on props. I don't bet it and then send it after it moves. That's bullshit. I would never do that. I send the props, send them to the public, and by the way, if I don't get it in, great. I still have a bet. You know what the bet is? If it wins, the customers realize it, and I'll get more business. So that's the way I work, and it's been going really well. Listen, I know what I do on props every year. I know why all those local guys stiff me over the years. It's for props, and it's for betting early in the week, by the way. So if you're betting something now, Monday morning, for next week's college football, or better yet, even pro football, if you bet like this morning, I seen a major line move on Dallas. So the Cowboys plus 3.5, minus 110. If you're betting that early morning and you see the market and you're chasing some steam, Well, it sits in the account there all week. Your local BM bookmaker that is, looks at it and he sees it and he says, look at this. This guy got 3.5 on this game. It's 3. This guy got 5.5 on this game. It's 4. And they say, well, what are we doing here? We're having a local shop here following. They start yelling at the local shops. And now the local guys, the local place that's the PVH guy, they say, well, listen, we'll alert you whenever this guy plays Steam. So sure enough, that's what makes you get in trouble. So not that you don't want to bet games that move, because you do want closing line value, but it's better to bet something same day of the game. A college basketball game, college football game. This way, there's a lot of stuff going on that same day. It mixes in. It's hard for a book to look at every single bet, a bookmaker, because he has so many different customers. He wants to check what he has at risk or exposure for the day. But with college football and NFL and stuff like that, sometimes you do have to get ahead of the line. So you do have to play with shops that keep you playing here. South Point, Westgate, Circa. I can bet anything early in the week. Don't matter. They take the games off me and they move them, though. You can guarantee they do move the games. So there's a little peek into my world and peek into the world of an advantage bettor that actually sells games. It's very, very hard to do. It's very hard for an advantage bettor to sell games. So it's an interesting thing. Most people sell games and just stays there the whole day. It's the reason why I was having a hard time sometimes. People got to keep their notifications on WagerTalk. You have to keep your notification emails on. That's just the way it is right now. We're working on an app. We're going to have an app out eventually with the games where you can get the notification right on your phone. But you have to have the notification on because my stuff will move. But however, I've been noticing, I follow things real careful. I've been noticing not too bad with WagerTalk, not too bad of movement. It's out there and it's still available for a couple hours after the email goes out. So it's been an interesting run here. That was my main concern, Andy, was joining. When joining, I was like, I want the customers to get an obtainable line. I don't do this bullshit where people say, bet this line at Hard Rock, Florida. Bet this line at Bet365. I don't do that. I give an attainable line. I use the DraftKings and FanDuel. That's what most people have. I'll use maybe the Chris. I'll do a combination of all of them. I want the customers to get an obtainable line. That's my biggest thing. I know I'm going to miss out on many, many units that pad the record by saying, you can get this at one single sports book. I refuse to do that.
Any thoughts on Monday Night Football tonight?
I don't even know who's playing. No, I'm joking. I'm being funny. Listen, Monday night, listen, you guys know what I think about NFL sides and NFL primetime games. Just because they're on TV does not mean anything to me. It doesn't mean – I know everyone's got to have a bet, though. I have literally waved the white flag, the white towel, because I just know what sports betting is. I know what the human makeup is. I know the dynamic of us. We just can't just sit and watch a game, San Fran, Carolina. We got to have some action on it. It's the reason why I say everyone should have a season win bet on a team or something. Or you can even go in right now. I know apps like BetMGM, Caesars, and I know these apps you can bet futures right now over under season wins. Throw $5 or $10 on a 49ers or Carolina over under for the season. This way you can root on the game or something. Don't just fire on a side because you think or a teaser. Like tonight's game, easy teaser game. I understand. The game's over already in many people's eyes. San Fran -0.5 in a teaser or -1.5, bringing it down through the key numbers of 7 and 3. Well, the problem with that is you're laying $1.35 or more on a teaser. In the end, that's unbeatable. So I don't even give out teasers because they're unbeatable unless you're playing with the local shops and they take it. A 6-point teaser -110 or even -120. You can't go up higher than that. But anyway, I'll have a prop bet probably on the game. But that's about it. There's no sweat equity on the side or total for me. We'll have that up later here at WagerTalk.
All right. So Bill will have his plays up. Tell everyone else what you got going on for the clients for today.
I went over to the WagerTalk site just to check to see what they had up for me. And it looks like there's a nice packages there still. And they're talking about my 28 and 15 NBA prop run. I'm going to win on props. It's that simple. Props is really I'm the prop meister. I'm going to win on NFL and NBA props. So join us over there. Like I said, join me for a long-term package though. Anything can happen one day. You want to join one day just to spend some money for a little bit of money for one day. Join me for a week. Join me for a month. Join me till the end of the Super Bowl. We're gonna have Super Bowl props. Just email the site and we'll make you up a package till the end of the Super Bowl and till the end of the NBA season, really too. NBA props are they go until May, and so there we go. That's it, Andy. You know me. I'm not a good salesman. I just talk about what's going on. Talk about like life, what it is, and people can make their own decisions. But if you want to win long term, let me and my team do the work for you. You guys work 40, 50 hours a week. Just get the emails and fire and get thrown out of your local book.
I love it. Love it. Awesome stuff, Bill. Thank you very much. Check your Twitter DMs. I'm going to send you a message after this show. Bill Crackman, everybody. All right. Oh, all right. I figured out how to change the name in the chat here. You click on the upper right of your YouTube channel. You click on your photo or your avatar, and it says View Your Channel. You click on View Your Channel, and then you click on Customize, and you can change the handle. So you can put something like Andy is truly awesome, like I did in there. So that's how you can change it. YouTube, I don't know why YouTube changed it, but you can go into your channel and get it that way. We can all see that way we can all see your real names. Because, I mean, let's face it, RJ5718 is not nearly as sexy as seeing his real name. So, all right, let's bring in Steve Merril. We got a lot to get to with Steve. Happy Monday, Steve. How was your weekend?
Doing well. I'm going to have to go back and listen to what you just said again. I didn't realize you were talking about the actual comments on the main because, mine does that. I've got a couple accounts I use depending if I'm on my laptop or my phone, and they're all like Steve Merril 0529-555. But it says my name, so I assume people know it's me replying back because, as you know, I do read the comments and reply back, so that's good to know.
Yep. Yeah, it's really easy. You just click on your profile, hit View Channel, and then Customize, and you'll see where to change it. So. All right, you got 3 games to break down for us. Let's get started with Monday Night Football. We got Panthers and 49ers. I already have the Panthers plus the points locked in for my super contest pick, so I'm hoping you're on the right side and they're on the same side with me. Maybe, maybe not. How do you break down this Panthers-49ers game?
Cracking up because I don't use Instagram a lot, but I do put some WagerTalk stuff up there, and it popped up. It was a 90s skit from SNL. Chris Farley was doing the Monday Night Football, drunk and whatever, and Will Ferrell was the producer. Monday Night Football, ABC, and it's like, so now when he said Monday Night, it's all I think of now. But this was a matchup that would not have been very good back then and still not considered too well of a matchup here with the Panthers-Niners. But I think the Panthers are a live dog in this one. Of course, did a standalone video for this as I do for all the Sunday night, Monday night games. Gave you the Rams last night for free in my Sunday night video. This past Thursday, the Texans for free. Now 11-2 on those Thursday prime videos. And we're going to put it on the line because there are 3 Thursday NFL games this week for Thanksgiving. Yet technically, the prime game is the Friday game between the Bears and Eagles. A little technicality there. So I will have all those games for you this week, Thanksgiving week. So click subscribe, click the bell for instant alerts. If you want to deep dive in this game, go back and watch the 10-minute video. But one thing I point out in that video and also my Fade the Public video is that the 49ers are one of the most public sides this week. And by the way, Buffalo on Thursday was maybe the most public side this week, but I don't use the Thursday games for the Fade the Public. And then yesterday we had 2 of them, Detroit and Seattle. Detroit never in it. Seattle did cover. So we'll see what the public ends up doing. They're currently 1-2 this week, and this is the 4th game this week that was very public. And I do think this is a spot where we can fade the public for a couple reasons. First of all, adjusted line value. One of the reasons fading the public works long-term is because if everyone's on one side, you get a little extra line value. And that is the case now. This line was open 6.5 a week ago. It was 7 for some of this week. Now it's pretty much 7.5 across the board. If you like the Niners, you probably missed the -7. If you like the Panthers, you step in now and get that plus 7.5. There's about a 3 to 4% chance this game lands exactly on that key number of 7. So at 7.5 or more, I do think there's some value here with the Panthers. And I also like the matchup. Carolina flying a little bit under the radar now, 6-5 straight up. The Niners are just 7-4. And San Francisco's actually alternated wins and losses going all the way back to mid-September. Their last 8 or 9 games, it's been win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. And, of course, they won at Arizona last week, so we'll see if that trend continues with a loss tonight. And Carolina also has been a feisty little underdog here in recent weeks. After that 1-3 straight-up start, they have quietly gone 5-2 straight up and against the spread their last 7. And I believe 4 of those 5 wins have come as an underdog. I think Carolina's a live dog here at plus 7.5 or more, and we'll fade the public in this one tonight on Monday.
Nice. Let's go. Come on, Panthers. That's a phrase I never thought I'd hear. Come on, Panthers.
Bryce Young, by the way, Andy, coming off maybe his best game ever last week. Purdy returned also. I failed to mention that. He had 3 touchdowns, no picks. Bryce Young threw for over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. So we'll see if he's finally turning the corner after being a pretty weak number 1 pick.
Yeah, Bryce Young and Jacoby Brissett tearing it up.
As
Wild
expected.
times we live in, Steve. By the way, how's that for like one of the best pieces of trivia, like moving forward? Like who holds the record for the most completion in a game in NFL history? And it's Jacoby Brissett.
That's crazy.
My gosh. Yeah. All right, let's go to the NBA. Cavaliers, Raptors. I love this Cavs team. They were one of my favorite overs for season win totals. And this Raptors team, there's something there. I don't know what's there, but I feel like there's something there. They're not a terrible team here, and that's kind of what this line is telling you. Cleveland's only minus 2.5 here, over under 236. How do you break down Cavs and Raptors?
Yeah, so this game is literally lighting up right now on the odds logic screen as we're doing this live around 12:45 Eastern on Monday, both the side and total. I didn't see a ton on the injury report. Sam Merril, 2 R's, 2 L's, unfortunately, is questionable with an illness. And we do know Merril moves the line, so maybe that's what this is. But Cleveland's a little bit of money coming in on it. Looks like Cleveland now. They've gone from 2.5 up to 3 across the board, and that total is definitely dropping. It opened as high as 239. You mentioned 236. Well, now it's 235 as of a couple minutes ago. Lighting up like a Christmas tree this Thanksgiving week on the odds logic screen. So money coming in on Cleveland and on the under. Toronto 12-5 on the season. A little bit of a surprising start. The Cavaliers, as you said, 12-6, probably where they should be. But keep in mind, they've done more damage recently. They got off to a little bit of a shaky start this season, going just 3-3 straight up. They won 4 straight, and then they lost 2 out of 3. But they've now won 4 of their last 5. But they are coming off a no-rest situation after that home win against the Clippers yesterday on Sunday. Really streaky over-under team. They went over their first 2 games this year, then 5 straight unders, and then we had 6 straight overs, and now we've had 5 straight unders. So the under money is coming in here again. Unrested situation. One thing Cleveland does do well is play good defense. They've got a lot of size down low, and I think that's why we're seeing a little bit of money on Cleveland, and it probably is correlated to that side as well. As far as Toronto, this team, I mentioned 12-5. It's pretty impressive considering they started just 1-4 this year, and they have quietly won, 11 of their last 12 games straight up, including a current 7-game win streak. So I'm not sure I'm in a hurry to fade a team at home dog on a 7-game win streak, but they also have no rest, but they stayed at home against Brooklyn. Big step up in class, though, for Toronto in this game. After being a double-digit favorite at home yesterday, now they're a slight dog. Meanwhile, Cleveland coming off the LA Clipper game, one of the tougher teams in the league, and now a slight road favorite. I can understand the money coming in on Cleveland in the under. I would probably prefer to have Cleveland here. Even though Toronto's been red hot, I think it's a big step up in class for the Raptors. We'll take the better team here in the Cavs, lay the -3, and I think that does correlate to the under 235 as well, as they're the better defensive squad.
All right, Cavaliers and Raptors. We're going to move to college basketball, St. John's, Iowa State. Before we do that, tell everyone what you have up on Monday.
This is a great time of the week. Great time of the week to be an all-sports, all-access client at WagerTalk.com. And I have a special offer I mentioned last week in my free play videos. And I know many of you got on board already, and we had a nice 67% weekend in college and pro football. But if you waited, it's not too late to get the rest of November free. We have a full week to go still. It's so simple. You buy December, you get the rest of November free. You see the details on your screen right now. Why wait until next Monday, December 1st? Get this entire Thanksgiving week of college and pro football and college and pro basketball for free when you sign up in advance for December. All sports, all access, no promo code needed. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And by the way, that's right above the daily free play. Don't sleep on the daily free play. Had the Packers yesterday for you, and the free plays are hitting over 65% over the past month and a half for free on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM.
All right, let's do it. College basketball, St. John's, Iowa State. Tell me about these teams. We got a pretty short line here, -2.5, over under 158.5.
Yeah, first thing I'll say is this Thanksgiving week, you're going to have a lot of neutral courts. So make sure, and that's why the odds logic screen, once again, is a great resource. And by the way, you can get a free 7-day trial. There's a promo code on my page at wagertalk.com for odds logic. But it'll show you where all these games are taking place. It'll also show you the kind of the brackets they're in to say maybe some possible look-aheads and whatnot. And this is one of those neutral court games. It's the Players Era Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada, Michelob Ultra Light Arena. Tons of games in this tournament. Some are at the Ultra Light Arena like this one. Some are at the MGM Grand Arena. This one, by the way, at 4:30 Eastern. So we got a lot of daytime action as well. And we have seen the money so far come in on Iowa State. They opened as a brief 1-point favorite. Now it's 2.5, even some threes starting to show out there. Some money coming in on Iowa State. Not much movement on the total. A little bit to the under. 159.5 down to 158, 157.5. So Iowa State and the under has seen the initial action in this game. And these are two really good defensive teams. They both rank top 15 defensive efficiency this season. They're both top 16 ranked teams overall. Of course, we always look at tempo when we look at these games. And St. John's does like to play up tempo. Even though they play good, tenacious defense, they do it fast, full court pressure with Pitino. And Iowa State's kind of what I call a neutral team. And what I look for with neutral teams is when they play slow down teams, they probably get slowed down. When they play faster teams, they speed up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Iowa State likes this tempo. They currently rank in the top third in tempo, so I think they will. So I'm not in a hurry to get on the under money, but I can understand the move from 159 down to 157.5 because it is a neutral arena. First game there, the sight lines and shooting sometimes can be different. And it's a pretty big total. Obviously, 157.5 for two good defensive teams is high, but I would lean towards Iowa State. I agree with that move from -1 to -3. I think they're the better overall team. And William Mary Tribe hung within 3 with St. John's last Saturday, a couple of weeks ago. I think got blown up by like 32 or something. But St. John's has been vulnerable at times this season. They've underachieved a little bit at times this year. I actually took a shot with them against Alabama as a substantial favorite back in game 2, and they lost outright. So that was a real red flag for me whenever a team is in what I think is a good spot and then loses outright. And that did carry over, as I mentioned, in that William Mary game, as they're only up at like 3 at the half, eventual 33-point win. And then they beat up on a bad Bucknell team in their most recent game. Iowa State hasn't exactly been battle-tested either, but the one good team they played, Mississippi State, they handled rather easily by 16 points. I think they're the better squad right now, and I agree with that line move. Take a look at Iowa State -3. That goes at 4:30 Eastern in Vegas today on Monday.
All right, Steve Merril, great breakdown. Get all of his free plays over at his page. And again, get December, but get it today. You get the rest of November for absolutely free. Steve, tell him again, what's the shortcut to get to your page?
Yeah, it's quite simple. WT.buzz/SM. And we are so close, Andy, to 250,000 subscribers here on WagerTalk TV. 250,000 subscribers. Let that sink in. Make sure you've clicked subscribe. And hey, click that bell as well. And this week it's really important because we're going to have a ton of videos up early this week because of the holiday. So click subscribe, click that bell. You'll get all my weeknight college and pro football games and also this weekend's action for free here on WagerTalk TV.
All right, Steve Merril, thank you very much. Have a big week. Let's do all around the world. Then we're going to break down the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. So let's do some free plays. We'll go to the NFL tonight. Take a look at Bryce Young over 206.5 passing. This is just too low. I know you guys mentioned, some of you mentioned Shedeur Sanders. We actually cashed for clients Shedeur Sanders over his passing. His pass total was like 158. It's just way too low. I feel the same way about this one. Mostly because the defense are going up. This is 49ers that since Fred Warner's injury, given up 256 passing per game. And since Fred Warner's injury, every quarterback except Jackson Dart has gone over this total. So give me Bryce Young to go over his passing as a strong lean. NBA, Pacers, Pistons, Duncan Robinson over 10.5 points. He's been really good recently. 13-plus points in 7 straight. Playing 31.9 minutes per game, making over 4 shots per game, and 3 of those are 3-pointers. And the Pacers, awful on defense, give up 24 points a game to small forwards. So Duncan Robinson over his points. And then we'll go to the Nets and the Knicks. Jalen Brunson over 2.5 rebounds. Really low here. Nets give up 5 rebounds per game to point guards. Brunson has gone over in 4 straight, and he's averaging 6.6 rebound chances this season per game. So I kind of expected this number to be 3.5, so I think we're getting a free rebound here on Jalen Brunson. All right, let's break down the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. Denver Nuggets minus 8.5 against the Memphis Grizzlies. Over under sits at 232.5. We talked about this Grizzlies team last week. What if not having Ja Morant there was a little bit of addition by subtraction? And sure enough, what's happened? The Grizzlies have won 2 games in a row. Granted, it was against Sacramento and Dallas, but that's a huge win by big margin against Sacramento, then a 6-point win against Dallas. And meanwhile, you have a Denver Nuggets team that they added depth to their team, and they need it already because Aaron Gordon is nursing a hamstring. He's going to be out for this game. And you look at this Nuggets team, they're coming off a loss to Sacramento. And it's kind of interesting. You look at who the Nuggets lose to, they're in letdown spots. So they lose to Chicago by 3, they lose to Sacramento, and then they also lost at Portland. Like, those teams are not awful, but they're certainly not on the caliber of, like, for example, Houston, which was a team that Denver beat. So I look at this Denver team, and without Aaron Gordon, you're getting a lot of this Jokic and Valanciunas a double lineup, which is a lot of fun to watch. But I just don't think they're in the mode of trying to beat up teams really, really bad. Jokic has been spectacular, but I could see a little bit of a letdown spot. Edey has looked fantastic for the Grizzlies. So I like the Grizzlies to keep this one close. They just looked a little bit better without Ja Morant. Now, they're going to be missing a few people, but 8.5 kind of feels like a little bit of a look-ahead spot for Denver. So I will take the Grizzlies plus 8.5, and for a couple of props, I don't see Santi Aldama's points number when it comes out. He's been on fire with Ja Morant out of the lineup, so I would be looking at him. And I would also be looking at Peyton Watson to go over his rebounds. He stepped in nicely and has gone over this rebounding total of 5.5 in every game that Aaron Gordon has been out of. So there's a couple free props and a lean to the side for the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. And once again, tonight we have our Monday Night Football best bet that is up, and I've attached for free bonus 2 NBA props that will be playing tonight. And I think we're going to have an NHL added as well. So that turned out to be a really, really nice pack. We're 20-11 in NFL primetime games, looking to make that 21-11. So primetime games have just been one of the bright spots this year in the NFL season. So partner up with us, jump on board. That's over at wt.buzz/AL and get those 2 free NBA picks posted as well. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. And we're going to do it again tomorrow, and we're going to start getting you ready for Thanksgiving. Again, the schedule for this week, we will be on Tuesday and Wednesday, off Thursday, but then we will be here for Football Friday. I will be out of town, but I'll be hosting, hopefully, from the Airbnb, so we should have a good weeks of shows. So thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's have a big night, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.